with yet another masterclass on writing, answering a very important question that I've gotten from a lot of writers. Skip this ad in 3 days. I'm the author of these two books, monumental books. This is 715 pages, this is about 644. This is The Manifold Destiny of Eddie Vegas. Actually, was given quite a nice blurb by Stephen Moore, a renowned critic of excellent books. This is a different sort of beast altogether. This is called Walk Like a Duck, a Season of Little League Baseball in Italy. This is in diary form, and it talks a lot about the history and culture of Istria and Italy and Slovenia. Well, they were put together by Riverboat Books, and today I told Riverboat Books you can't have them anymore. They were going to be published, I believe it was the third or fourth publication date for these books, at the end of May. And the question, though, that this pertains to is, what do you do when you feel so powerless and you have to kiss ass, you have to put up with a lot of shit, you have to do what you're told, you have to tolerate lies, and basically you have to debase yourself as a human being in order to get published. What do? I'll tell you what you do. You do the same thing that no one does in a Trump news conference. You see all these people, picture them as writers instead of journalists. That's funny. They're social distanced apart, okay? And a woman will ask a pertinent question like, what was going on in February when you were being told to save your country's ass and you did nothing? And Trump will say, you're very nasty. That's fake news right there, fake news. And no colleagues of hers say a fucking thing. They don't say anything. You know why? Because they're cowards. And so what do you do if you're a teensy-weensy little writer with no power and you got an abusive, lying editor who's basically going to put out your books in a horrible situation? Like, for instance, in this case, this book is coming out in 6 weeks, and there are no advance reviews yet, and there are only 16 copies ready to sell. And we don't know how many more there will be by the end of that month. What if a reviewer loves it, and if you see, the name of Stephen Moore on there, comparing the book to some kind of combination of Rabelais, Hunter S. Thompson, and Thomas Pynchon, which he does. What if 50 people want it? Well, according to my publisher, fuck them, they can wait. We'll order more in 2 weeks, and then in a month they might get the book, they might not. This book he has been publicizing since December, and it's made it to 3 places. He told me, he admitted it. I admit his honesty, that he was honest there. He sent it to 3 places. But I'm just a weak little writer, so what do? That's a good question. You know what I do? I do what I would do if I was in that room. I'd say, you, President, are a fucking asshole, and you cannot treat my colleague like that. I wouldn't be a coward. And so I'm not a coward. And now I have 2 books that have advance printings, but don't have a publisher. And I'll tell you, I would rather be who I am than some ass-kissing schmuck who has no courage whatsoever. Rick Harsch.